Hello and welcome to the Redbrick Sport podcast. This week I'm joined by Harry.
Hello.
Alex.
Hello.
And Sam.
Hi.
And Nathan is lurking outside ready to come in. We'll let him in and come back to you. Okay, Nathan is now inside of the office. Hello, Nathan.
Hello.
Let's jump straight in. We've got a lot to talk about. Man City, Chelsea, which ended 3-1 to Chelsea. Started with a Gary Cahill own goal. Kevin De Bruyne missed from about 4 yards.
Raheem Sterling-esque, that one.
Yeah.
Flashback to
Fabregas
Wales.
played a great ball over the top to Costa, who shrugged off Otamendi to score. Willian and Hazard both then scored on counter-attacks, and it ended in a bit of a fight at the end.
To be honest, I say Man City deserved the win on the reflection of how many chances they had. I think Chelsea buried the game so effectively. If that De Bruyne sitter would have gone in, I think we would have been talking about a very different result.
Yeah, well, it's interesting what Pep was like in the interview. He was like, "I'm proud of my team. Like we created enough chances to win."
He didn't seem too bothered.
Exactly.
It seemed like he hadn't lost 3-1. He'd sort of like drawn.
Well, he said he likes to analyse games on performance rather than like the actual result.
Well, they're a better indicator of future results, aren't they?
Exactly.
Rather than results themselves.
Yeah.
Weirdly.
I mean, conceding 2 counter-attacks, if you take that out of it, then it's still just 1-1, and you can't just say, oh, it's poor defence when it's 2 counter-attacks and most of your defenders aren't there. Although I would like to say the best action of the game was the fight. That was the most entertaining bit.
It had everything that a football game requires, really.
I thought it was a great game, actually.
Yeah.
There's a few incidents that I want to talk about. The first being David Luiz's push on Sergio Aguero when he was through on goal.
Oh,
Did we
nothing.
think that that was a foul?
Red card foul.
Red card.
I don't think there was one.
I don't think he even touched
it
it.
could have been. However, I still think if Aguero tried to stay up a bit more, he could have done and probably still would have beaten Luiz. I can see why people say it's a red card and there's probably nothing in it, but also it's subtle, sort of clever defending, to be honest, if you can get away with it, and that's what Luiz does quite often. But, it wasn't so obvious to the referee, obviously. And I do think Aguero could have done a little bit more to stay up.
I do think, the contact was minimal. Yes, there was contact, probably a free kick, but the way Aguero, he went down in a way where the contact did not warrant that kind of fall. And he definitely milked it a lot, and I think the ref's seen him milk it from his angle and decided there's probably nothing in it, or at least not enough in it for that contact. So,
I've got two that strongly disagree, I can see here.
Luiz is well versed in the dark arts of football. You can see the slight glance that he takes to the left, sort of in his peripheral vision to see where Aguero is, and then he just sort of sticks the elbow out and sort of just knocks him over. But I think it was a red card. I think the referee sort of hesitated too long for him to make a proper decision on it. And I think that's probably why Aguero felt justified to go in with that challenge at the end.
The way I looked at it was, from one angle it was a foul, from another it wasn't.
Yeah, but that final angle, just so definitely.
It's the one that has panned out and you can see it sort of like... You
can see the intention.
It's not always depends on to hear, but I do think you've got to commend the defending as well to an extent. Yes, it's a risk you take, but if he thinks he's going to be beaten, he's very subtle at doing it. He, as you say, he's well versed in the dark arts of football, and he is. He's got that in him. And if he thinks Aguero's going to beat him and he can do something like that, then
right. So if Luiz had been sent off at that point, that would have prevented the fight at the end, which saw Aguero stab his leg into Luiz's knee, essentially.
Got the ball, didn't
he? He couldn't have got any less of them. So Aguero got a red for that, and then Fernandinho got a red for what looked like a choke slam on Cesc Fabregas. Yeah.
Well, it's interesting. If you look at Fabregas' movements, he just lets it happen. He doesn't react at all. And he actually purposely falls over the boards. He lets look, the ball's behind me. I fall over this. That might make it look 10 times worse.
Yeah. Did he not also give Fernandinho a little bit of a slap leading up to that? So what Fabregas has done there is basically got Fernandinho sent off.
Yeah.
And Fernandinho's fallen right into it.
Fernandinho
no, you can't. He's fallen right into the trap, which is almost more stupid than actually pushing him.
Yeah, I think there might be some retrospective punishment for this.
But I think what Gary Neville said about the whole thing was spot on as well. He said something like, while it was happening, that he'd expect things like that to happen. He'd expected the ball over, motions the ball over in a game like that. It's the way it should be, which I think is a fair point.
I agree to an extent, although I think they've got to still have to show some control because they're going to miss Aguero for 4 games now because he's been back for 3. That means he's missed half of City's games by the time they get to the Hull game, and it's ridiculous to do a challenge like that because I mean it was absolutely abhorrent, to be honest. I understand what you mean.
If not Aguero's challenge per se, obviously, it was the melee.
Yeah.
I mean, you would expect. When you say you would expect people to get emotional, I think you mean if there's like a minor challenge, you would expect one team to overreact and start going around trying to make a meal of something that isn't. But yeah, you don't expect that kind of challenge, which was all sorts of bad.
Harry, why can't Claudio Bravo stop shots?
Well, it doesn't matter because he can play out from the back. Or it doesn't matter. He doesn't have to. You might as well play Iniesta in goal. Play Fabregas.
He's fantastic, isn't
he? So, yeah, I think he was getting a lot of criticism for the Willian finish, and I think it is justified because he didn't make the goal look small enough. Yeah. Although it was a good finish, and he buried it firmly in the corner, he could have got close to him. He could have. I think the king of closing down angles is Shea Given. If you watch like Shea Given in like the early 2000s, he's quite a small keeper. But he closed angles like amazingly, and I don't know, maybe Shea Given teach Claudio Bravo a couple of things.
I did feel though that Bravo actually did a worse job on the Costa goal, not in terms of saving it because it was a pretty unsavable shot, but the effort. He took a long time to get down to the ground. It looked like he wasn't even really trying to save it. Obviously, it wasn't one that you would think he could save, but he didn't look like he tried hard enough.
Yeah, I was going to say his worst effort was the Hazard goal. Because he just didn't come out. He came out, went back, and then the angle was not
he predicted because Hazard sort of like opened his body up as if he was going to the far corner, and then just slotted it in near post. You see a lot of strikers do that nowadays, and Bravo just sort of like predicted that he was going to the far corner, committed, and then Hazard just slid it in.
How did he come out?
But he did come out, but like it was a good finish from Hazard. To be fair, it was Hazard's body language that made Bravo commit. As for the Costa goal, it was a decent finish. It was you could say it was under him, but I think it'd be harsh to it was point blank range almost.
Speaking of Costa, in current form, is he the best striker in the Premier League?
No, it's Alexis Sanchez, my friend. Converted striker, and he's actually got the same amount of Premier League goals as Costa now, hasn't he? So can certainly make that comparison.
I think they're quite on par.
But they're so different. I mean, like if you look at the way Sanchez plays, when we set up with Sanchez up front, it's usually sort of we set up almost without a striker. He just sort of does what he wants, and that usually results in some form of reward. But,
I mean, it would be interesting to see a team where they could play together with the sort of physicality of Costa and the skill and speed of Sanchez.
Yeah, it'd be very interesting.
All right, let's move on to Bournemouth-Liverpool. Bournemouth completed a remarkable comeback to win 4-3. Mane and Origi scored within 2 minutes of each other to give Liverpool a 2-0 lead. And Harry, you've now seen the goalkeeping for these.
Yeah, so you were criticising the first one. I think it's a little bit harsh because I think the defender could have done better to, be a bit more physical with Mane and stop him getting in front of him. But I think Mane's pace was in Borik's mind. He must have had in his head that he was always going to, lose the race to get there. So he just thought, all right, I'm just going to stay still and just get myself as big as possible. I think he did everything like he could, to be fair, to prevent that first goal. The second one where he came running out, that was a mistake.
But a fairly emphatic finish from Origi from a tight angle. James Milner then gave away a penalty, which Callum Wilson scored before Emre Can side-footed it in from outside the box. This was a crazy game. And then Ryan Fraser's first goal in almost 2 years gave Bournemouth hope again. For Steve Cook equalised. Stabbed
striker. That was literally, if a striker, if say like Diego Costa had done that against Manchester City, that would have been like the highlight of the weekend. And then, the shot that he had for the fourth, which he just put every single morsel of power that he had into it.
Yeah, that shot that Alex is talking about resulted in Nathan Ake's injury time winner. Another striker's goal. Yeah, he probably should have. So Bournemouth were absolutely incredible in this game. And this was one of those games where both sides are intent on playing very attacking football, and that obviously makes for a great high-scoring game. Liverpool's title challenge. Alex, you mentioned before the podcast you think this is the reason they can't win the league.
I think it shows very well their defensive frailties. Obviously, I know we lost them 4-3 at the start of the season, so perhaps it's a faulty comparison, but if you're losing to a team like Bournemouth, although they do play very nice football, you can nullify them very easily as well if you're a much better team. And I just think that if you're losing 4-3 away to Bournemouth, after being 3-1 up as well, let's not forget that.
It wasn't 2-0 and 3.
Yeah, 3-1, yeah. So, so it shows to me that perhaps even, maybe not title contenders, maybe not even top 4 either, to be fair.
It's crazy, that.
No, well, I mean,
I agree with you.
Fifth,
it's interesting, like how a couple of weeks ago it was like, Liverpool, title, Coutinho gets injured, lose away to Bournemouth.
Yeah, how much it can change in 2 weeks, definitely. But I think they're amazing on the attack, but they seem to have no sort of control over what was happening. So like they couldn't at any point when Bournemouth were on the attack and scoring those 3, they didn't seem to have any sort of way of preventing it from happening. It was almost like it was just sort of inevitable.
Yeah, well, it seemed like they were missing like a leader. I don't think Jordan Henderson is the captain of the title-winning side.
Yeah. Well, I think in terms of the defence, you can say they missed Matip, and they missed Matip hugely, to be honest. He's been brilliant, and then they had to play Lucas instead. It's terrible. You just know that. And to be honest, when I saw the team, and considering how well Bournemouth played at Arsenal last week, I thought they might get something at 3-1 down. I thought, that was a poor shout. But then, as you say, every time they attack, they look like they're going to do something, especially when Fraser came on. So I wasn't really surprised by the end result. And Karius, well, that's unacceptable, to be honest.
When I saw the team, I put a bet on over 4.5 goals. So, who's the real winner tonight? Can we have a few words on Bournemouth? Because they are playing some very nice football under Eddie Howe. And I think they're swiftly becoming everyone's favourite team as a neutral to watch. What do we think they're going to achieve this season?
Mid-table obscurity, but I'd be happy with that. I mean, the last season I think they finished 16th, was it? Can't remember where they finished, but I know they didn't finish sort of mid-table comfortably. But I think they've got they're sort of using the sort of players they had in the Championship. They're becoming Premier League players, Premier League standard players very quickly, and they've got an English core of players as well. Something that's quite unusual in the Premier League these days. But I think it could serve Eddie Howe very well in future managerial prospect, to be fair.
Yeah, when they played against Hull a few weeks ago, all the scorers in the 6-0 win were English or something like that. It's
rare. It's rare nowadays.
It is rare, and they play some great stuff, and it's entertaining. They always look like an attacking threat. Even against the big teams, they don't seem scared. They go out there and just play their own football, really. And it's refreshing.
They remind me a lot of Swansea when they first came to the Prem.
Yeah, a definite style.
Yeah.
The philosophy that they stick to.
But now Swansea have seemed to have lost their way a bit.
Let's hope Rob Bradley is not the manager of Bournemouth in 3 years.
Well, I want to talk about Everton Man United because I'm well aware that both North London clubs scored 5 this weekend. But I think Everton Man United was an interesting game. Zlatan scored a chip which only just went over the line. But again, Harry, this was terrible goal.
Yeah, it was a bad week. So Stecklenburg, it's similar to the Liverpool second goal. Like he just misjudged it, came out, and it's like they're gonna make mistakes. So
but still a very impressive finish from Mr. Ibrahimovic.
I think it's worth saying that Funes Mori has to take a bit of blame there as well, because he's seen the keeper come out, chips in the air, hits the bar, and he's just watching it. He still watches it. He watches it when it hits the post. He doesn't change his run, doesn't do anything. It's only when it's about to sort of like creep over the line, he sprints. He gets back to it. If he just started sprinting from the start, he would have saved that easily.
Right, I have a question for everyone. Is Funes Mori a worse version of John Stones?
Yes. And that was shown perfectly by them playing in the same defence last season and how badly they did. John Stones is good, but Funes Mori... They signed him from Argentina, I think.
Yeah.
And it's rare that you bring in an Argentinian central defender from the Argentinian league who's very young, and he adapts perfectly. He showed signs of being competent, but I think sometimes I watch him. Sometimes I just think you're a bit of a fraud, you are, mate. That's just been my my
Yeah, it
opinion
looks
on him.
like he has a mistake in all the time.
Yeah.
Speaking of Argentinian defenders, Marcus Rojo, 2-footed challenge in the air. Surely everyone thinks this has to have been a red card.
Yeah. Isn't
Got the
it?
ball,
It's
didn't he?
doubt.
I haven't seen the challenge.
Well, for,
It was
those,
bad.
for anyone
It
who
wasn't
hasn't
bad.
seen it, it was 2-footed and he was off the ground and just didn't get the
Could have
ball.
been a leg break.
Like,
Very
it was
Yeah.
it was still a red card 20 years ago. That probably.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that was,
definitely. Yeah. It's not a soft one, is it?
I think it really
Yeah.
helped him that Gay just sort of got
Yeah.
up and got on with it.
Yeah, he
Because if
took
he'd
really
stayed down
made the
even
most
for a
of it.
few more seconds or feigned some sort of injury, I think he was a goner.
Yeah. It's like a career-ending challenge, that.
Yeah, it's not
That's
nice.
terrible. So he was lucky to be on the field. Someone else lucky to be on the field, Fellaini, because how is he still a professional football player? Came on as a sub, gave away a penalty, which everyone saw coming from a mile away, and Leighton Baines scored it, and there you go. Man United dropped 2 points thanks to Fellaini.
Don't forget it was his 100th appearance for Man
Yeah,
United.
you see the
well,
tweets, they were
yeah.
literally
Wow.
it's terrible.
So he capped it with paying back to his old club, which is very nice.
Yeah, Nathan, you're a Man United fan.
I am, thank you for
Why
reminding me.
does Marouane Fellaini play for you?
I don't know. The last three managers, Moyes brought him in, and everyone else seemed to try and give him confidence because as soon as Mourinho came in, he's like, I want you on my team, you can be useful. And to be fair, I understand why he brings him on. I do. It sounds ridiculous after seeing what happened, but you 1-0 up, and there's a few minutes to go. I understand you wanting to defend a lead, but Mourinho can't condone defending like that. It's just lazy, and Gary Neville was just like, it's pathetic. You sit here on commentary. There's no defending that, but you bring him on in the hope that he'll be able to win headers and things like that, but it doesn't quite do.
It's
you know,
logical, but
it just hasn't worked.
Yeah.
Again, what he said.
Practice.
Yeah.
Well, when he was at Everton, he was very successful in the sort of Dele Alli role. Of lanky player, plays behind the striker, gets the knockdowns, tries to score as many as he can with his head, with his foot, or whatever part of the body. It'll come off and go in the goal.
elbow.
Yeah.
I think it was very interesting to hear Osman after the game actually in the studio, and he was like, we always made sure he stayed as far away from our box as possible in knowledge, he's a bit clumsy. I didn't think he'd say something like that, but it's a good point. As he said, he's more playing the Dele Alli role, where he's less of a danger to our own defence. But you can't
You
condone that.
mentioned that the reason he comes on is to win headers in the dying minutes defensively. Could you not use someone else, or literally anyone tall?
Bailey was on the bench, could have brought him on for the last few minutes.
Exactly.
That seemed would have been okay. Yeah, no, there were plenty of other options, I guess, but I can see Mourinho's thought process. Not necessarily that I agree with it, because we've done it about 4 or 5 times this year, made a defensive change at 1-0, and we've rued that change. But I kind of agree with it in principle, because at 1-0, if you've only got 5 minutes to go, you want to defend that lead.
The last thing I want to talk about for this game is the fact that before the season started, Martial on the left, Mkhitaryan on the right, Pogba behind Zlatan Ibrahimovic looked like the sort of offensive line that everyone wants to see. How did it work in this game?
We weren't as good as we had been in terms of creating chances. I think everyone who watched the game will know that. However, the fact that Martial has only just started playing is... I can't work it out myself. I've seen him, 3 times star now, and he's been the man of the match each time, to be honest. Absolutely phenomenal. Martial has looked much better the last few games as well, but I was really disappointed with Pogba and Ibrahimovic, to be honest. It was a good goal, but apart from that, I thought their touches were off, and they slowed the play down, they don't do the correct things. But Pogba particularly, actually, was very, very disappointing yesterday.
Maybe you should have played Fellaini at left wing, because from what I saw, when Marcus Rashford came on, all he did was try and go up for headers and not win any. And I'm not sure why you're playing long balls to Marcus Rashford every time he had the ball. But, I don't know, that's just an
I'm not sure why he came on, really, because if we were on with 10 minutes to go to try and, again, I don't know, maybe he wanted some fresh legs, but Martial defended really well during the game, not only going forward, but we saw Rashford, he's capable of when it comes to trying to defend when it was against Arsenal. So I was a bit surprised that he came on to it, because Martial was playing well, Mkhitaryan was playing well, bring on Mata, I don't know.
Can I just take this time to rub a bit more salt into the wounds for Nathan and just point out that you are now below West Brom in the league?
We're not actually, we're above them by a point, but it was a good effort though.
All right, we'll take a break and then we'll come back and talk about the North London clubs. Hello, we're back. Alex, tell us why you love Tony Pulis.
I think he's a great manager. I think he makes a lot of what he's got. I think he's quite good at gardening as well. I think his dress sense, above all. I think the fact that he's you see him in the match wearing like his finest sort of Adidas white trainers, like plimsolls, and then he comes out of the post-match interview wearing a full suit with waistcoat. I think that's quite an interesting change, really. It's like he's a man that can do both, can't he?
Yeah. Well, as the chant goes, he wears the club shop. He wears the club shop.
Yeah, he's good for merchandise.
Right, let's move on from Tony Pulis and talk about how Arsenal scored 5 at the London Stadium. But like, if you don't do that nowadays, you're not very good at football because the London Stadium is hell. But at least Andy Carroll gave them something to cheer about with a rebound header after a Payet free kick.
That's like the West Ham stereotype, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like Andy Carroll header, Payet free kick, and it results in a goal. I'm surprised Antonio didn't header it in as well. That would have been like the epitome.
I must admit, I did think it was almost poor goalkeeping from Cech.
Yeah,
on the free kick, he watched the ball hit the bar and then didn't move. I mean, you can't blame him for the header because obviously the header was put past him, but he was stood there watching the ball go onto the bar and then didn't react quickly enough when it rebounded into play.
He did look
not blaming him, but it wasn't great.
He did look a bit gormless, didn't he?
Oh, yeah, it was just the way it happened, though.
If there was any other
he went
keeper,
like this. He like moved from left to right so slowly, and when it was slowed down, because you had to sort of comprehend what happened. Because when we were watching it, I was just like, "What on earth's happened there?"
Yeah.
Like you just
it was a bit strange.
It's a very odd goal.
I also love how as soon as the ball went in, about 6 Arsenal players all pointed to the assistant and said, "Put your flag up, mate."
Yeah, it did look offside as well. That added an extra layer of complication to the matter, really.
Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain and Ozil both scored in this game, but the real story is how good Alexis Sanchez is. I think he basically sent... Was it Randolph in goal for this one?
Yeah, that was
He
unreal.
sent Randolph down to the
Never
underworld.
seen that before.
with
I was saying like what happened. Like, imagine if he like actually miskicked it and it was just like a mistake.
It definitely wasn't, was it?
No.
You see his eyes on
Yeah.
the slowed down replay.
Well, he sort of
He
like
looks,
goes round
doesn't
the ball. Doesn't
Yeah.
It was fantastic.
He did a step over for the dummy, which is I've been saying all weekend since. Ronaldo will watch that and go, "I need to replicate that because he can't be the only one allowed to do it."
Yeah, no, Alexis Sanchez is an incredible player.
Just waiting for the 3-month injury, really.
Yeah,
Usually
that's
comes
the thing.
about this time.
It's about January.
Yeah, I was going to ask, can Arsenal win the league this season?
No, because we're not as good as Chelsea or City.
I think, in theory, yes. In terms of, can we get 75 to 80 points? Yes, we can. But can other teams get more points than us, and can other teams win harder games than us? Yeah. Yes, they also can.
So for Arsenal to win the league, for convince you for Arsenal to win the league, who would they have to sign in January? Like, is there any players who Arsenal could sign?
Realistically, we've been linked with Draxler this morning.
Yeah.
I don't know if Draxler... I mean, obviously, if we're playing Sanchez up front and we're committing to that now, then we need a left winger permanently. I'm not sure Draxler would be perfect for it. It'd be very good, but it would also come with a large transfer fee. And I just happen to think that whoever we sign, it won't really make that much of a difference, because in Wenger's mind, unless he just changes his sort of philosophy entirely, he isn't going to sign anyone for more than 30 million.
Why don't you play Lucas Perez?
He's very slow, actually. He's not that fast at all. He's only a tiny bit faster than Giroud. He's just smaller, so he looks a bit more mobile. But
do you think he'll
do you play well back
play
there
again?
when he comes back?
I would play. In the tougher games, I'd play well back there because you sort of. I remember the game against Spurs. I think we drew it 2-2 last year. But I remember it might have been the year before this actually. But Welbeck, I remember him playing against Rose on the wing, and he was so good defensively. He just sort of nullified every threat that Spurs had, their fullbacks. And I think that's what he's very good for. He's a hard worker. Even though he doesn't do a lot going forward for Arsenal. When he plays, I do really enjoy watching him. To be fair,
Yeah, I mean, I do think Arsenal have got a squad that could win the Premier League, but I do think part of it is, like, a lot of this season, Wenger has put Xhaka on the bench when he's been our best midfielder in that role. And I think I can't comprehend why he's done that at all, because he has, like I said, been the best midfielder every time he's come on. He's looked like the midfielder Arsenal have needed for years.
Well, I'll tell you why. It's because Francis Coquelin has the second most interceptions in the opposition final third of any player in Europe.
Yeah.
Who's gone most?
Doesn't surprise me.
N'Golo Kante.
I also it's not surprising.
It's probably interesting game, isn't it?
No, it's someone's Spanish, I think. Right, across North London, Spurs also scored 5 and kept a clean sheet. So, 1 off on Arsenal. But it was against Swansea. Kane scored twice, Heung-min Son scored, and Eriksen scored twice. Was this Spurs playing well, or just Swansea just really bad, or is it a bit of both?
Yeah, Swansea, I mean, for me, I was saying this to Harry, that if you look at the 2 centre-backs that Swansea played in this game, Mike van der Horn, who couldn't get an Ajax's team about 6 months ago, and Jordi Amat, who is very much sort of played second fiddle to Fernandes and Williams at Swansea. I think that you can look no further than that to see the root of their problems. They've got some good, obviously they've got players like Sigurdsson, Barrow is pretty good. Yeah, they've got players who are like, fine to stay up with, but that centre back and the defence, it sort of just, it makes them look weak, much weaker. And yeah, they really, really struggled in this game.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't think about it when they sold him, but selling Ashley Williams for, what was it, 10 million, 12 million? I'm not sure his age, but I didn't even think about it at the time. I didn't think, they're probably going to go down now, but you look at, he's such a leader, he's been there for years, and he's led them to the Premier League. To sell someone like that and not really replace him, it's madness, actually.
Weird. It doesn't really make sense. I mean, they tried to replace him with Alfie Mawson from Barnsley, and that's just, it's just not a like-for-like replacement, is it, really?
Really, really hard.
I'm not sure if there is a like-for-like replacement.
Not in terms of
leader,
leadership, character, and sort of the importance
he has to Swansea in general.
Yeah. Well, he sort of defined Swansea's rise, really, hasn't he? He's been there for the whole thing.
Yeah.
What about Tottenham? Did they play? They obviously played fairly well in this game, but they're looking better now.
Well, I was a bit disappointed, to be honest. I had 4-0, so that was a bruising last minute goal. But apart from that, no, I think it'd be wrong to say they had a difficult game or difficult opposition and say that they're going to pick up now. But the first goal was a dodgy one. If everyone's seen the alley dive foul, it's not great. But they have always created chances, even in the games they haven't been winning. And with Kane back, I think they've got a nice 3 behind him as well. They've got a really good defence. Alderweireld's coming back. He's just about to come back for the next game, I think. So I think Spurs can be hopeful for the rest of the season. Whether they'll get top 4 remains to be seen. But I think that they can get over their Champions League woes. Hopefully, if they lose to CSK, they won't be in the Europa League. They won't have to worry about that. And then, it should be in for a good season, I think.
All right. Other results from the Premier League. Sunderland beat Premier League champions. I'm going to say that every week. Leicester 2-1. Leicester's awful away form continues. I saw this coming. I'm assuming other people also saw this coming.
Yeah.
Don't really know what to make of games like that. Really could go either way.
Good result for Sunderland though. Crystal Palace got a fairly shocking 3-0 victory at home to Southampton. Harry, Fraser Forster, go.
So I'm going to defend him here. Obviously, it looked an horrendous mistake.
Do I explain what he did to anyone who hasn't seen it?
It was Fonte who passed it back to him, but he decided to pass it back across Forster onto his weaker left foot. And he sort of, if anyone's trying to do it, it's actually quite difficult to sort of manoeuvre yourself.
Across your body.
So he let it go across, and then as he stepped to hit it with his left foot, he hit the toe with his right foot, bobbled up, and he miskicked it, and then Benteke just slide it in.
Yeah.
But I'd criticise Fonte for why would he play it on his left foot? Why would he play it across him on his left foot? Just play it to his stronger, and then you can just easily hit it.
Get Mr. Alex Alton to answer that.
Well, why would Fonte? Because he's got 5-star weak foot on FIFA.
Yeah.
So Fonte's probably seen that, and he's been playing FIFA. And just thought, he's got 5-star weak foot, and pass it to his left. But I think, to be honest, I know what you're trying to say, but you can't legislate
it is a
mistakes
mistake.
like that.
It is a mistake, and Forster's fair play to him for coming on an interview.
Very gracious.
And was it's not my first mistake, and it won't be my last.
Yeah.
And it's very
refreshing to
Of
hear.
all the goalkeeper mistakes, I think that's one that you can sort of look at and almost accept the most, because it really is just a standout. Everyone, you can analyse it every which way, but it's an unfortunate mistake. And as you say, but it is interesting about passing it across. Obviously, I can imagine it being difficult to do, especially if you're coming to your weaker foot.
Yeah, 100%.
We will get a YouTube tutorial of how to do that for the coming days. Even without Fraser Forster's ridiculous miss kick, though. It was 3-0 Palace, so this was a great game for them. And Southampton has been defensively very strong this season, so that's a strange one. Stoke beat Burnley 2-0 at home. Nothing special really going on there. West Brom managed another win and scored 3 goals. I don't know how they're doing it. They beat Watford 3-1. And then elsewhere in the world, El Clasico ended 1-1. Headers from Suarez and Ramos. Ramos really could have won the game for them, actually. Had 2 pretty good chances at the end and scored one of them. But Atletico Madrid only drew 0-0 at home to Espanyol. So the draw in the Clasico didn't really help them either. And the Rome derby, Roma beat Lazio 2-0 with goals from Nainggolan and Strootman. So there's your European football roundup. Anyone got anything else they want to say?
Nah.
Excellent. Good ending. Thank you very much. That was Harry.
Yeah, well, Villa lost. I don't want to talk about Villa.
Yeah, Wigan lost as well. I'm just not bringing it up.
Exactly. It was Derby, wasn't it? Bradley Johnson.
Yeah.
Good play.
Right, you heard from Harry, Alex, Sam, Nathan, and myself, Dan. We will see you not next week, actually, because our holidays are coming up, so we'll see you after Christmas.